I don't have a cup.
I said, do you need one?
Yeah, I do. Remember we was watching that shit with T.I.? We was like, oh, no, that was me and Brittany. That wasn't you, my bad. Shout out to Brittany. See, Brittany name came up. And boy, T.I. was doing an interview with old girl, and she gave him a cup of water in the beginning of the interview. As the interview went on, you see his water, I'm like, damn, that must be an intense interview. That nigga drinking all the water. You know, usually when you see the water on the stage, nobody mess with it. But I'm like, damn, bro, Tip. He was talking to I can't think of her name. I'm mad I can't call it. He was talking to the lady about the white lady who does the experiments about racism. She did a little brown eye, blue eye deal, but he had to sit down with her. I'm like, that must be an intense interview. This nigga drank all the water.
That nigga was serious. Come on, brother. Ready?
Let's do it.
All right. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Under the Pressure. It's your boy Quasi Lotus. I know I've been saying Quasi lady, but a Ghanaian lady ran into me. She checked me, so it's Quasi Lotus. So I'm your host, Quasi Lotus, and I got my homeboy in here, my man Ron Wells, NO, Enhanced Fitness, Mr. 18. Man,
I'm here. It's been a long time coming.
How everything going, man?
Things been going good, man. Just recently moved back to Charlotte for the second time, and just trying to push the business, bro. Trying to push it.
Well, let's start there. I know you from New Orleans, but you said moving back to Charlotte for the second time.
Yes, sir.
Tell us a little bit about New Orleans when you were younger. Before
Man,
you moved to Charlotte. I said before you moved to Charlotte.
Right, the first time. New Orleans growing up was, as you know, it's the murder capital. I was fortunate enough to grow up on the West Bank, where it wasn't as much crime, but definitely still a lot of crime going around. Had an amazing set of friends growing up. Shout out to them. Amazing set of friends. We were always into sports. Shout out to my mom and dad. I had them growing up. It was just when Katrina happened in 10th grade, we looked at that as an opportunity to just go for a better life, because it just was starting to get a little fuzzy for me at 15, 16, 17. You know the things you kind of getting into. And all of my friends, we all didn't choose a sport path. But they still were my day ones. But it was at that time where it was like, it's either, you play sports or you choose the other side. Yeah. And I was walking the fine line of sports and the other side. And when the storm happened, maybe 2 or 3 months before that is when things really started to heat up. Like that summer, that June, July, August, the term coming off the porch, or jumping off the porch. That's when that phase of life was hitting. Mm-hmm. You're getting into a little bit more than what you should be getting into, because you find yourself having access to things easier as you move around as a kid. And sports is what I should have been focused on, obviously not the other stuff. And when Katrina hit, we took that as that opportunity. I was not feeling it. I didn't want to come here, as you knew when I first got here. I didn't want to be cool with none of y'all, and I didn't want to be a part of the cycle or the culture, because I'm like, I want to graduate with my friends. I don't want to come here and make new memories. I'm like, I could just live off the old ones. I'm cool. I was cool with being from New Orleans. I didn't want to I had aspirations. I didn't have aspirations to be from somewhere else. Yeah. I'm like, no, I'm from a lit spot.
I'm from the 504.
I'm from the 504 all the time. I don't need to go nowhere else. But coming here was obviously part of the plan. So as I adjusted to it, I just started looking into the positive of things.
So I moved a lot myself in my youth. Me and my family did. So I never really stayed in the same place a lot. But I know how it felt to get when you start getting accustomed to things, to have that disrupted. When you came to Charlotte, I know you said you didn't really like it here, but as far as friendships and sports and things like that and getting accustomed to it, was it really difficult, or was it just something that you kind of fought off?
To me, it wasn't difficult because it wasn't a lot of culture here. It wasn't a lot of outside things going on. At home, it was so much other things to get into for us. Festivals, Super Bowl was coming, the March Madness tournaments was coming, just things in the city, Mardi Gras. So we was all over the place. You was able to do this all year round. But then when I came here, I really seen that, I can actually focus on sports. I can have what we thought was a comfortable lifestyle. Mm-hmm. And the people here was very accommodating. I have friends I have a certain type of friends I never thought I'd be cool with. Just the different personalities, the different paths of life. Some people, friends from different countries. We was on an island in New Orleans to me, because I didn't have access to all of these things. Mm-hmm. So from that perspective, I loved it. Being around different types of black people, different types of Spanish people, just all the different cultures in that. On the West Bank, it was just us.
So get into a little bit more of it personal, because I know you talked about kind of walking that thin thread, jumping off the porch when you were in NO. I knew you when you got to school, you know, for sports and, you know what I'm saying, just being a friend. I didn't really know the other side of you.
Right.
But, a lot of black young men don't really have their dads in their life, you know what I'm saying, through those times. So do you feel like having your dad there kind of helped you pull you away kind of from that other side more towards into sports? Like,
definitely, because he was quote unquote off the porch way earlier than me. He was actually into the lifestyle. Mm-hmm. He was full fledged into it, and that's something that he obviously didn't want for me. So when those friends came around, he was able to connect with them immediately to say, well, hey, look, I've been there before. Mm-hmm. So him and what I call my homeboy, who put me on to that, who really kind of showed me how to move, you know, in the streets and whatnot, they was able to have a conversation on a whole nother level, just because my dad could relate to where he was coming from. Mm-hmm. And that's how we kind of kept me away from it. Like, he was like, look, you know, your friends are your friends. I'm not here to tell you who to be cool with, but some of the ways of y'all movement is just not right. And my friend was able to respect it. So there'd be times where we did something and I would stay behind. Mm-hmm. Or I just would drive. You know, we always found a way. They always found a way to keep me away from, because they would have to answer to him. He was almost like they OG, quote unquote. Mm-hmm. Well, look, if you want this package with you, this is gonna have to be the rules with it. And they respected his mind. I ended up adopting, not literally adopting, but two of my homeboys moved in and lived with me. You know, you had a situation. Mm-hmm. We just had that open household. So he was very accommodating to the lifestyle around me, trying to keep me away from it, just constantly pushing sports, pushing school. Not because that was the only way, but at the time, in the era we grew up in, you know, we didn't have that many avenues other than sports.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about the positive end of that. We kind of talk. I ain't gonna say the downside of it. We talk about him kind of keeping you away and kind of prohibiting you from the things that he saw were bad. Let's talk about him kind of supporting you through some things. Like I said, I always saw you. Me and NO went to school together.
Facts. Right. It's content here.
You know what I'm saying? 18, 19, we already know. So for y'all, I saw your dad a lot at our events.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But that's out in public. What are some of the things your dad did behind the scenes that people may not have known that supported you? Like, you know, I didn't go to camps and I didn't go to these different. I remember I went with you and your dad to go visit South Carolina State.
Facts. You was with me. You was with me. Yep. Brought a highlight tape and all that.
What were some of the things that your dad did with you that you knew, like, you know, I must have something if my dad is behind me on this?
Just that support in advice all the time, like 24/7. Like, I could say, hey, I'm about to start selling socks, so I could go to him for an idea. He may say, well, that's terrible, but try doing it like this. Like I always had that backing. It's been many a nights. It's been 12:30, 1 o'clock. He'll just come knock on the door. I'll be up playing a game, and we'll just sit and talk. And he'll just run it about life, about different situations that may happen. Like, you know, what would you do if this happened? Just kind of keeping me on my P's and Q's as a young man. Like, he never really held me to an impossible standard I never felt growing up. I mean, he was hard on me, and it sucked. And he used to blow it most of the time as a parent, you know, because you're not seeing the positive in it. But looking back at it, there was always a fine message that came with each speech, or came with each conversation, or came with each. Sometimes we'll do work together and not talk. Like, he's showing me how to put tile down, or hang ceiling fans, or whatever the case may be, and I'm just watching and learning and trying to observe. So yeah, he did a lot behind when the doors were closed, man. I must give it to him. He definitely looked out on the back and kept me out of trouble.
That's good to hear.
He kept me out of trouble, man. He got a lot of trouble secrets he held away from my mama. I'm like, bro, you can't tell my mama this. You cannot tell. And he'll look out. He'll look out.
That's good to hear that you and your dad real close.
Yeah, that was my dude.
Was college something that you and your dad kind of talked about all the time, or was that something kind of your aspiration to want?
Well, my brother didn't go. My sister didn't go. My mom didn't go. He didn't go to a traditional college. He didn't get his bachelor's until I was in 4th grade. So I was able to see that process. Like, he picked me up from school, and he, you know, I hop in the whip, and I'm like, you know, how was your day? He's like, man, I failed that test again. He's telling me this. I'm like, damn, like, for the 3rd time? He's like, hell yeah, I just can't seem to pass. He was like, that's why when I teach, like, and then he would correlate, that's why when I tell you, when you get an F in school, don't hide it from me. Like, everyone's going to fail. Mm-hmm. He's like, just because I'm not in school no more doesn't mean I'm not failing. I'm just not taking tests like you. But in this literal situation, he was taking the test. So I was able to humanize with him and say, okay, cool. Shit, my dad fails too. Like, it's okay to make an F every now and then. So I watched him go through that with his bachelor's. I watched him get his master's, but not from a traditional perspective. Like, I was the first person in my household to do the whole FAFSA, figure out clearinghouse, know how to talk to guidance counselors, looking at the report card, matching your SAT scores and your ACT scores. Like, they didn't know any of that stuff. So when I got to Charlotte, it provided a better platform for me because in New Orleans at the time we didn't have that at our school. Like advanced, we was able to take ACTs for free, SAT training. Like I didn't have access to any of that stuff, so that definitely was a pro. He would ask me things that I thought he knew about college. I'm like, oh shit, I thought you knew this. He was like, well, I didn't go. So we pretty much was learning together. But we both knew that you had to apply yourself no matter what. You definitely had to apply yourself.
But the idea of going to college, was that something that you always wanted?
Through sports. It was just through football. Like I knew I had to go to college to get to the NFL.
Okay, so the end goal for you was NFL.
Right.
Got you.
Yeah.
I just asked because I know a lot of people. Some people just don't talk about college. They don't, you know what I'm saying, other than sports and things.
Right.
Like
Right. I mean, and that's kind of how it was. I knew his major was business administration at the time. I knew I didn't want to do it. Like I never inspired to be what he was career-wise. I inspired to be exactly who he was as a man, but not like what he woke up every day and did for someone else, as far as like his corporate job. Like that never was inspirational to me, just his work ethic in general. So we never really talked about college from a school perspective. We just knew we had to go because football was there.
Okay, well let's get into football. Let's have some fun with that.
Hey.
Okay, so I'm gonna take you down a little ride. So
All right.
Vance High School. I remember you tore your ACL.
Yes.
Was it once or twice at Vance?
I tore it twice at Vance.
You tore it twice at Vance.
Yes.
You still end up going to college and playing at Pembroke.
Yes.
You tear your ACL again.
Again. For the third time.
Where's your mindset? Because you, like I said, you went to college for sports. You loved your dad's work ethic, but you didn't like the corporate, working for corporate America. Where's your mind at when you tear your ACL the third time?
Bro, I'm running to the ball to scoop and score on a fumble, and my knee just hyperextend, my nigga, and that was it. I knew laying there, looking through the helmet, looking at the grass, looking at my cleats. I'm fresh, I'm swaggy, and I'm like, the sauce dripping, and I'm like, it's over with. Just so you know, before you get up, when these trainers get over here, when they pull a gator up, they're going to pat you on your shoulder before you wave to everybody. Just know you will not come back on this field and play this game ever again. I needed that moment for myself so that the tears felt realer. Like I was able to reflect memory-wise, like, okay, I'm crying over like me retiring almost. Like it was one of those type moments because tearing it 3 times, your junior year in college,
Yeah,
do you need to have this Do you need to have this conversation about going to work? And athletes, sometimes some athletes need to have that conversation. I never was the athlete that was blind to what I was providing to the team. There was seasons where you weren't the best player. You have to know that. So at the time it was like, get ready for the real world. So when I called him, I got in the locker room. I sat in there by myself. Everybody's still on the field. First person I called was my dad, and I just was like, I couldn't stop crying. He was like, what happened? Calm down. I'm like, I'm straight, but I'm like, I tore it again. And he was like, what? It was an awkward silence. And me as their son, I personally felt like I let him down. Like I didn't know how, because that was my only way I really knew how to provide for the family.
Back.
Like Friday nights, everyone would come see me play. Saturday mornings would be a reminiscent of the night before. From even Saturday mornings as a kid, everybody, like my niece, they all at the game, watching me play. So when that was ending, I was like, where's my value as a person? You know what I'm saying? Like what keeps them connected to me other than the fact that we just cousins or nieces or I'm their son? I'm like, now am I just a kid in the family who dreams are washed away and you go on to work and then you just reminisce on the past? I didn't know what life really had for me and how I mattered. Because sports was going like, I'm a competitor. So the only thing I wanted to do was wake up and compete. Oh, you want to race? Come on, let's go do excuse me, if you want to race, come on, let's go do it right now. Yeah. That's all I really knew. So the second phone call was to my mama. And that's when it settled. Just listening to her voice, that's when it settled in like, all right, it's over. Because she was like, well, I enjoy watching it. She was like, I've been watching you play since a child. She's like, it's been the NFL to me.
Yeah.
Oh, she was like, beautiful. Yeah. So at that moment, I was like, all right. It was a little easier to cope with. It didn't help, but just knowing with my mom, because when you look, it's different when you see your dad in the stands and when you look over and see your mom in the stands. Mm-hmm. Your daddy looking at the game. Your mama just up there. You down 49-0. She's like, yep. Yeah, she's like, do your thing. She's like, boy, I seen that tackle. I'm like, Mom, we lost 49-0. She's like, but you recovered that fumble. Right. Could have been 56-0. I was like, real. She always was able to see the positives in it. So that was very refreshing when I made that phone call. Then it just trickled down. Like I told my nieces, told my brother, told my sister, And, you know, you just had to come to reality where, you know, sport is over.
How long did it take before you started actually moving? Because I know you got to recover and, you know what I'm saying, you got to kind of, you know, not saying back away from the team, but I know after a while it's like, I'm not on the team no more, so I'm not going to, you know, do whatever. How long did it, or when did you start really coming back to, like, reality in life? Like, all right, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to start moving on this.
Okay. I'm going to be honest with you, bro. By our first game that season, I woke up from the surgery Friday morning. My mom and dad by my side, and I looked at them and I was like, I want to go to the game. And it was like, at 7 o'clock tonight, I'm like, I'm going. I'm like, I'm not missing the team meeting either. I'm like, I'm going to be in the team meeting and I'm going to the game. As soon as I woke up, I was like, I'm like 12, 1 o'clock. You know, where they give me the water. I'm trying to get the anesthesia out of my system. I'm trying to ease my way back into, like, I'm trying to feel the pain. I didn't take no medicines. I didn't take the perks. You know, it doesn't matter what I did with them.
Yeah. He's doing. Just know they weren't taking.
Just know I didn't take them, but the rest is history. Shout out to them. But you know, I told my mom and my dad what I wanted to do, and they was like, because this is the third time. This is the third ACL surgery, so I kind of know what's coming. So I wanted to get on my feet as quick as possible. I made it to the team meeting. I walked in. I just wanted to be there. I just wanted to be there for them, really. You know, because that was traumatizing to me, knowing that I wasn't about to play no more, and I wanted to tell them as quick as possible.
How did they welcome that?
Well, we was in the team meeting originally, so when I crutch in, and I just crutch into the back because I know Coach talking. He hit the lights, and you know he shout out to Wells for making it. Everybody clap. I got some handshakes,
good, yeah.
and then they went out there and got the dub. We punished Fayetteville State,
that's what I'm talking
smashed
about.
Fayetteville State. Shout out to Fayetteville for being so trash. Like, it's not even a rivalry no more. I don't understand why they so trash. But anyway,
Pembroke, by the way, we talking about Pembroke.
we talking about UNCP. Shout out Pembroke.
Okay.
But Fayetteville showed me love. I like Fayetteville. I like Fayetteville.
So you went out to the game?
Yeah, I went out to the game and I crushed my way up the track on the sideline, and I watched them boys cut up. And I'm like, I'm not missing this.
Now, what happens after the game when everything settles?
After the game, they turned, the emotion cheering. Shout out to Crack, my roommate, because he came up to me. He was like, you know, hey, so we can head back to the crib. He had a great game, so I'm thinking he about to go live it up. His first game there, it was our first time coming together since freshman year, both playing at the same time. Some of my best friend and my roommate at the time. So it was exciting enough just to watch him play and just knowing I was supposed to be out there with him. You know, we went back to the crib. We talked about what was to come, like what was next. He was like, you know, you in a position, I'm still playing. You're not. So we both need to make sure we following the right path while we're in college, using this platform as we could. He was using it for sports, obviously to get the degree. I'm like, he was like, now that you're not playing, how are you going to use it? And that's when the minuscule idea of Enhance came, and I didn't know. I went to coach that next week. I'm still on crutches. I can't even go attend none of the meetings. And I said, how would you mind if I stuck around and started helping with strength and conditioning and coaching defensive backs? He was like, no. He was like, not at all. He was like, I would love it because, you know, he was like, they listen to you. He was like, whether you know it or not. He was like, you know, your friends, he was like, these guys on this team, they listen to you and you have a voice. So the segue was perfect into that. I went straight into doing right into the assistant defensive back coach. Shout out Coach O.C. Williams for the opportunity, and Coach Pete Shinnick, the head coach at Pembroke at the time, and they lost in the national championship this past season.
Dang.
Yeah, so I was around some great individuals at the time because Pembroke was a new program. You know, we had a lot of early success. A couple of All-Americans came through the program. It was just a young school. Football program was beginning, and the coaches seen something in me and in me and a lot of us that we didn't see in ourselves at the time. So I definitely shout out to them for like me being able to build my resume out of college because I graduated with work experience due to football, and a lot of people didn't get it. And then the strength and conditioning came as I started coaching DBs. I loved it. Don't get me wrong, I was around football, but I was a little more interested in the performance side of the athletes. Like, you know, it's going to be coaches forever.
Right.
Like, just coaches at all ages and all shapes and sizes when it comes to sports. But we didn't have a strength coach growing up. We had a guy who knew how to work out. Like, the coach didn't have an in-shape person who you could just go to for a quick workout. Other than us just pulling up at school on our Christmas breaks and summer breaks, going in the weight room playing. Just imagine if we had a strength coach we could go to on those breaks to make sure we were polished. Yeah. And that's what I wanted to be. And that's where Enhanced Fitness kind of started. Not all of it, though.
Now, speaking of college, since we're talking about getting a workout, I want to kind of bring us into this.
Right.
Now, when I went to college, I changed my major like 3-4 times.
Mm-hmm.
When you came into college, did you kind of start off in something and then morph into? Because what was your major again? Sports.
Undergrad was exercise physiology.
Okay, so exercise physiology.
Right.
Did you start with exercise physiology? You start somewhere else and then kind of work your way into it as it came up.
Well, again, with me tearing it twice in high school, I had already went through rehab twice. Mm-hmm. So at the time, I was like, shit, I might as well major in it. I didn't went to rehab in it twice. Mm-hmm. I knew all the exercises. I really didn't need to rehab the second time, but I didn't want to be that person not going. So I was trying to remember everything. I was following from like a business perspective. Watching him, how he run the facility. And I was like, man, I could do this. And he didn't look like he was at work. He's walking over to me, telling me how many sets to do, motivate me. He'll walk over to another person of a whole different caliber. An older guy just on some shoulder stuff, not even an athlete. Mm-hmm. But he's still helping all of these kinds of people accomplish one goal, which is just to be healthier at the end of the day. Right. So I fell in love with that instantly. When I got to school my freshman year, at the time I picked sports management. But my major at the time didn't matter either because, you had those prereqs, which I didn't agree with how the school system is set up. Conversation for another day. Right. So I'm taking these prereqs, and I'm like, why do I have to take prereqs if I can just take what I want to major in? But that was at Avery, my freshman year, where I transferred from. When I got to Pembroke, my sophomore season, I knew immediately when I walked in. Me and my dad walked into the office, we talking to the counselor, and I'm like, hey, I want to major in exercise physiology. He gave me the script. Me and my dad are going over when I'm going to take the classes, the time I'm going to take them, because we're trying to make sure we capitalize on the time frame, because I didn't want to be in class close to practice time. Yeah. So we kind of mapped it out up until senior year. We just slowly, one class at a time, and that's where the exercise physiology major came into play. And Pembroke had a great program, from my perspective anyway. Like small classroom size, amazing professors. Dr. DeFlacco, who is now at Coastal Carolina University, was my applied exercise physiology teacher. And it was amazing. And that's when she looked me in my eyes one day and she was like, this is what you need to do. And I didn't get it at the time, being 19, 20 years old. Like, for one, I'm ready to go. Right. I want to play football. So she was like, but this is your calling.
Random side note, I don't know if you remember, but I remember I was about to transfer to Avery when you were there.
Facts.
I don't know if I remember you talking
we were talking about it.
I think you had just started playing safety.
Yep.
But I was talking about...
Because I hit you up about like that transition. Like, man, I've been playing receiver my whole life. This is a movie, safety. What am I going to do? So, yeah.
So, you graduate undergrad. You go back to New Orleans.
Yep.
Why?
Well, honestly, man, and I fought with this. I fought with this for a long time. And I didn't really know how to put the feeling into words, but I felt like I was shorted through my teenage years because Katrina hit, and I didn't get to graduate with none of my friends. I didn't get to go to prom with them. I didn't get to go on senior trips with them. And when I came home, we still caught the vibes because I went home every chance I got, but I still wasn't in school with them. Y'all took that place for the last 2 years of high school. So when I graduated undergrad, I wanted to go back home. I had made sure I had a job set up at a gym that I won't name, but. So I made sure that took place. And then when I got home, it was a surreal feeling. Like I'm driving back. I know I'm entering familiar territory. Memories are starting to hit back. I'm getting a little emotional because, last time I'm leaving the city, I look back and it's just nobody. It's underwater, it's traffic. So it was a surreal feeling. I felt like I needed to close a chapter of my life by moving back home. So that's kind of how that came about. Because, this whole time, the plan was never to stay here. Yeah, like at no point when we talked about future was it ever to stay in Charlotte. So and it comes back full circle because I ended up moving back. So
you said you moved back to New Orleans. You felt like you had to close a chapter. Was it your intention originally to go back to school in New Orleans, or was that just kind of something when you got there you was like, let me do this?
Man, it kind of just came. Me and my brother always talked about school because, like I said, he didn't go, and my brother went through a lot early on, so he was able to reach back once he got older, just to kind of tell me some things he would have did different. He's like, bro, when you graduate undergrad, go straight and get your master's. Do not start receiving a paycheck and then go back to school because it's not going to work. Mm-hmm. He said, go straight through, push it through. Because when you get 25, 26, you're going to look back and it's not going to matter because you're going to have the master's. He was like, and plus you're going to get more money anyway because you have the master's. Just don't start working, receiving your little 25, 30,000 fresh out of school and feel like you're rich. Mm-hmm. So I said I gave myself a year from May to next May. And if my salary wasn't where I wanted it with training, then I was going back to get my master's. and or going to the military. So one or two things were going to take place. And I started talking to recruiters to go to the Air Force, trying to map this thing out. I know I'm going to do aerospace physiology. I'm working on my mile. I'm like, anything fitness-wise with the military, I'm like, I'm not. It was the last thing on my mind. I'm like, bro, I don't feel like taking these tests.
Yeah.
So at the time, I'm looking up schools, Southeastern, which can be compared to a UNCC, Southeastern Louisiana. And then UL Lafayette, where I received my master's from, you can compare to a East Carolina University. So at the time, ULL was just starting their kinesiology master's program in the fall of 2013. And at the time, it's spring 2013. The test I have to take for my master's, so I was just trying to match up the scores. They had that whole high school process again with applying for college. So I'm doing that. And me and my dad drove up to Lafayette again. Shout out to him, always by my side. One of those things where he was just like, okay, cool, you have my support. So we drove up, met with a couple of professors. We didn't get it. It was nothing related to football at all. It was strictly just a master's trip. So talked to a couple of professors, seeing the classes that I was going to have to take, being that it was a new program, wanted to make sure it was creditable and it wasn't going to close down in a year, and this money was going to be spent. This loans. Like, you have to, when you go to school, they charge you for it, and then they don't give you a job that equates to loans again.
Conversation for another day.
So, boom, I get accepted. I make the jump, and it's like, at this point, Enhanced came from Pembroke, but I still didn't know what to do with it.
It was just an idea.
It was just an idea, and I knew I was talented in some ways, but I still didn't know how to put my finishing touch on it for the world. So I grabbed that master's, and at that point, I was able to see a whole lot more into the business side of fitness because, to rewind back time a little bit, when I first graduated from Pembroke and I moved to New Orleans, I was full-time training, and I didn't even know. Like, I'm just thinking I'm at work. So I'm just a part-time trainer on the 13th floor of One Shell Square in New Orleans, which was an amazing building, amazing company. Shout out Oshner and Elmwood Fitness Center for molding me at the time, because they literally took me and was like, okay, this is the gym you create. We're not in your way. And shout out my manager Will and my coworkers Eddie at the time too, Rachel, Leslie, Joette, all of them, because they all seen the vision. They didn't see the enhanced vision, but they just seen the kid who was coming to work, and no matter what the situation was, I was going to work. Yeah. Because I'm looking at like, okay, the only time I get paid is if I'm talking to people in the training. Oh, it's hustle mode. That's easy. All I gotta do is go talk to get the bag. So it was just like, yeah, it was, it was you know how to do that from other skills you acquire throughout your life from talking to people. So I was full time. They give you a 90-day period to become what they would call a full-time trainer, and I accomplished that within, I would say, 7 to 8 weeks.
Damn.
If I'm not 7 May, June 5th, because it was around my birthday. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was maybe 7 to 8 weeks from the day I started. And it was like, you get in here and you talking to people, and if you're not passionate, you're not going to get the sale. Yep. And you're not passionate enough to sell them, but to change this person's life. Because I'm like, look, you're going to invest in something, I'm going to spend the money because I have to live. You will have this knowledge and advice forever. And that's just the method I took to selling people with personal training. Like, look, I'm not here to take your money. I'm here because I have a job to do and have to get paid. So that took off. So Will was there to kind of help communicate, help show me how to communicate to people, show me how to get the business side of it. And then I just had my other coworkers that like Joette and them just providing a platform. They let me teach classes, man. I had pretty much full access to the gym. I loved working downtown. That was one of the funnest jobs I've ever had. Some of the most amazing clients I have to this day that then turned into friends and family came from me working in One Shell Square in New Orleans. So definitely shout out to them. I do give them a big piece of the success of the story.
So it sounded like from the jump you was all about health.
Yeah, from the jump. And it was like I just didn't know how to, I didn't know how to find my way in the beginning. I was still looking I just was raw talent. Yeah. So I'm just standing in the gym and I'm full time in 7 weeks, and it say you're supposed to do this in 90 days. And I'm like, okay, so that goal is done. And I didn't find it that hard, so what do I do next? Yeah. So I know I'm going to get my master's in the fall, but they don't know. And at the time, I didn't have benefits because I was per diem. Mm-hmm. So you're only in the gym if you're training. It just coincidentally, I was in there from 7 to 7, which was a full-time trainer at the time. So I leave that job in August. I leave that job in July of 2013, and I started working for West Jeff Medical Center at the time. as a fitness director, a job with benefits, but they wasn't heavy on personal training. They had one other trainer, Mel, shout out to Mel, who was an amazing trainer, but they didn't have that many other trainers like pushing the sales side of it. So that was kind of my job when I got there. I hadn't received one paycheck yet, and ULL sent me the letter for his acceptance. So I sat down with my boss. I told her, I'm like, look, I'm sorry for if I put y'all in a bind or whatever the case may be, because I'm like, this is actually my field. Like, I'm not trying to have a bad rapport when I look back in 6 years. So they stood behind me. West Jeff was like, cool. I left, got my master's, and Lafayette was lit. That's Lafayette, Louisiana was a lit time in my life. It showed me it's a grind, bro. Like, it's a lot of people out here doing it. Like, it wasn't just me. It was a classroom full of us trying to find our way in fitness. And it's young people trying to figure out, how do I insert my voice into fitness?
So, you go back to New Orleans. You feel like you wanted to close the chapter. You take a year to kind of get yourself together to figure out if you want to go to school. Got a couple of jobs that, one of them you like how it is, but it doesn't pay well. The other one pays okay, but you don't like how it goes well. Mm-hmm. So now you in school, go get your master's. When did your dad get sick?
My dad got sick this post-master's 2018 now. Let's go 2016 December. Yep. 2016 December. Strength and conditioning coach out of high school. And if we didn't just win a conference championship, we're in the conference championship. So we lit. It's lit. We tread the game, we vibing, we winning. And he called and was like, I need to talk to you, come to the crib. And for some strange reason, I knew it was bad. I had a feeling on the drive over there. I'm driving, got the music on. I'm just like, whatever it may be, just, accept it best as you could, because it's something that, whatever it is he's going through with him and my mom at the time. So I'm like, don't make it any harder when you receive the news. Walk in the house, him and her sitting in the living room. I sit down. My ex at the time sits down with my son, and that's when he looked at me and was like, I have pancreatic cancer. I found out today. And I just was like, damn, my nigga. My mama started crying. I still was like, don't take it, Mm-hmm. So I'm sitting on it. He get up and walk in the back. I walk in the back, and I just hug him, and I'm just like, my nigga. I was just like, what we gonna do? He was like, I don't know. He said he didn't know. I didn't know either. Like we finally felt like we had got to a point to where, like, Enhance was coming along a little. We had Trey, we didn't created the next generation. So we had kind of started discussing ideas of how to grow the company, like just through, not literally through me and him, but just him on the back end helping with things. And it just, I couldn't understand what was really taking place or why it had to take place like that, but it's just how the cards fell. And maybe that's why our relationship was so lit the entire time. Mm-hmm. Like, we never had a dull moment in a relationship. Like, we was turned since I can remember being conscious. It was just me and him just vibing. 28 years. So I'm like, well, maybe that was the point for me to have soaked up, have had such a great mentor. Still to this day, I still struggle daily sometimes with figuring out, like, what's really going on in this realm of life. Because that was the first time I actually had to deal with someone that close dying. Better yet, like, he was supposed to be the best man at my wedding. Like, I've never had aspirations for anybody else to stand up there. So I looked at him as my best friend growing up. So when you lose, quote unquote, what you feel like is your best friend, and it was a parent, it just was a very real, very weird paradox of things going on around me. So
before we like really like get to post passing, and this when he told you this, what did he like? Did the doctor give any? Did he have any information from the doctor? Did y'all hear anything over time? And he like.
Well, we just knew with Google and family and friends knew. We knew that with pancreatic cancer is one of the worst, and it don't take long with that. He lived longer than most, a whole another year and a half with it on his feet, like walking around. He got bedridden literally the last 7 days of his life was spent, in the hospital. But through that whole process, you just trying to support him. That was the thing. You're just watching. You watching your hero go through a battle that he's not gonna win. That was the hardest part. Where it's like we faced things in the past, like we faced Katrina. Not that it was a win-lose, but I'm like, there's another side to it. Like there's a post-Katrina life. Like when family was post, like we went through tough situations together, so we knew that there was a life post that. But I know, like I didn't see the day where I'd have to go through it like without him. Like that part was blindsiding to all of us, and I'm speaking on all my family's behalf because he was important to way more obviously people than just me.
So in between these times of you finding out he gets sick and him passing, kind of talk to us about some of the things you do for him and some of the things you do behind closed doors to make sure that you're okay.
Okay. I can't speak on. I moved out of one situation and then I moved in with my parents, and just moving back in with them, being there for them those last 8 to 9 months, it put me back in being outside of what I was going through in my personal life, outside of my parents and him being sick. It was able to put me right back into like a kid mind state, just enjoying the aura of like us three again. Like it was just us three. So I get off of work. After I do my thing with tending to Trey, give him a shower, get him to his mom. I drive back to my parents' house, and then it's whatever process, wherever my mom was at in the process of helping him. Some days, it was a little rougher than others. If he wasn't feeling as good, then some things she couldn't do strength-wise, I would have to take over with and help. But yeah, that was a daily thing, and it started to wear on her more than me because I knew she needed the strength behind the situation, physically and emotionally, and he needed it too. So it was hard being there for him. I'm like, no, you supposed to be there for me. Right. Like we got this all mixed up. Like I ain't supposed to be strong. You supposed to be being strong, and I'm supposed to be crying. But just knowing that he was able to look at me and I'm just, we good. Like we gonna figure it out was really what honestly got us through the shit the best way we could. Yeah.
So you come back home to close the chapter, and this is kind of just like leading up to it. So at first you got football. Mm-hmm. I know that kind of three ACL tears. You know what I'm saying? You Katrina kicks you out of home. You feel like you come home to kind of close the chapter, and your father, you know what I'm saying, he passes.
Right.
Where are you at right now mentally? Because you're trying to, it's like,
I'm trying.
I haven't lost anybody, but I know how it feels to keep trying, and you just feel like stuff just like, I'm trying so hard, but ain't nothing going right. How did you keep the faith and the motivation and energy to push not only yourself but enhance fitness?
Because it's just a phase that we'll look back on and be like, dang, look what it created doing the sculpture. Like it's just a rock at one point. Mm-hmm. Then you start with the pinky toe.
But where are you at when this goes down? Because I understand the mentality.
Right.
Like we know what we got to do, but where are you at?
Dang, I did just try to dodge it.
Like where this? That's why it's called under the pressure.
I did just swerve it.
Where you at at this time?
Let's just go out let's go with 1 to 10, 1 to 100, so the numbers can seem a little bit more in my favor. Let's just go with 25%, because I'm trying to gain. I'm 6 months without him, so it's decisions I'm having to make that I never thought I had to make. Some bridges I'm crossing without him, and some bridges I've crossed with him already. So I'm like, okay, cool. He put me onto this. I knew about this, and there's other bridges where I'm just like, I need to figure this out on my own. So I'm still figuring out who I am as a man, being back into the real world after leaving my parents' house again, for like after moving back in and leaving again, and then still finding the strength to motivate other people, because that's really what keeps me going, is that I know that other people are counting on me daily for motivation. Like my clients, is like I don't get a day off with them. Like nah. Monday through Friday, I need you. Sunday to Sunday, I need you. Whatever the case may be. So, just trying to stay, and that's where the health aspect comes into it. Because it's everything that I talk about daily. I had to take all that information and apply it to myself. I had to start drinking more water. Like I went through a stressful stage. I lost a lot of weight. I started smoking more. Like I wasn't into that at all growing up. Like I wasn't into that, and that kind of came about through the process. And that's the first time I was able to like put that out there. So that came about through the process, not using it as a crutch, but it was just something I didn't do that came about in the struggle.
It helped.
Yeah, and it helped at some points, but that's no longer a crutch. I've written away with that. It's just making sure that I'm putting valuable information out there. That's how I do when I'm on my slow days. Like, okay, put something out there for somebody else, because I'll look back at hopefully this interview and be like, okay, you made it through another day, and then another day will turn into 5 years. Then that'll turn into 10 years. And I'm like, okay, as long as you wake up and you go that way, like that's why the enhanced arrow is pointing that way. Go this way. Go forward. Like the back is going to be the past is going to be the past. Like you will lose someone, I'll lose someone. Everyone's lost someone close. I didn't want to be the person that went through it, and then all of a sudden I needed all these people around, and I got to go to these, which is nothing wrong with that. But I just didn't want that. I didn't want that to be my story. I wanted to make sure I faced it, I accepted it, and I looked at it in the mirror head on. It was like, you're going to get through it. It's not the end of the world. That was the point of you and him, of his relationship with you, was for you to be strong enough to deal with these things. So I'm 25% there. Still a work in progress.
That's not bad. A lot of people still be at like 5, so
okay.
Not bad. But with all that being said, it honestly sounds like it's only right that you do enhanced fitness. You know
only right, bro.
You tear your ACL, you deal with some mental, you know what I'm saying? Because you also talk about physical and mental health.
Yeah.
You deal with some mental struggles with change of environment. You come back home, trying to get a job, father dies, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Or passes, father passes. And a lot of this stuff seems like it has to do with some kind of mental or physical health issue or aspect.
Mm-hmm.
So it sounds like it's only right that you enhance people's fitness through, mental and physical health.
And that's not to get all religious and all of that, but I feel like that was my place in the universe. Like when I look back at when I remember being conscious as like a 3-4-year-old, like, okay, I'm alive. Like this around me is real. Mm-hmm. If I fall, I'm gonna get hurt. As soon as my brain clicked, it was like, okay, I just want to be the best at something. Mm-hmm. Like who the hell signed up to be average? Like right. When was that ever part of the mental brain? Like you're born, you learn how to walk, and then you learn your ABCs. You want to learn them quick. You want to learn how to count quick. You want to walk quick. So I'm like, okay, cool. Well, I want to be the best at everything else I do now. Because now I'd have been pushed to do all of y'all. They put the pressure on somebody to walk. Now I'm walking, I'm thinking, and I always wanted to be the best at something. Like be the best and be able to put other people in a position to be the best at what they love. The enhanced kind of came, and just the name behind spelling it with an I felt like it was written. It was destined for me to just enhance the side of life. Whatever you need enhancement of, we can find a way to make it better for you. Whether it's mental health, because you just moved because of Earth tragedy, we can provide that. Whether it's physical health through fitness, we can provide that. Whether it's emotional health through counseling, we can provide that. Whatever it is, we just want to make it better, because you never know the talent someone's sitting on outside of what they're going through. And that slows people down, not having that outlet to be able to express themselves. Kind of like with your Stay Creative gear, like same concept.
Well, tell us a little bit about enhanced fitness and some of the things that you do. I know that you got a couple of things that you do other than different training sessions and boot camps and stuff like that. Like talk about some of the things that you're doing now and some of the things you eventually want to get into.
Okay, so we definitely have the personal training going on. We have corporate wellness programs going on. We have fitness boot camps going on, yoga classes, the whole 9 with that. And outside of that, we have our own apparel line, dry fit shirts, hats, leggings. We're looking into getting the field days with schools. Field days / fitness days is what we're going to call it, where I would go to a school, talk to the kids about life and show them how physical education and all working out is the foundation of your work ethic. You don't have to be a bodybuilder to have a work ethic physically. So that's where I dab into on the back end with the kids to show them, like, we don't have a lot of people coming back saying, hey, major in exercise physiology. We have people coming back saying, hey, be a doctor, be a lawyer. Case over, books closed. Now I can come back and say, hey, if you major in exercise physiology, these are your options. And within those options, you don't have to go to college for this. If you want to be a personal trainer, you can start your own business, or you can go to college and take the manager side of it. Just those different type of entrepreneurial roles I want to provide back to kids like us growing up in school. So it's not always just, if you don't play basketball or football, you can't make it, or you're not a singer or a rapper. Like, no, you can major in exercise physiology and do something you love.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm slowly building, being able to just add different avenues to provide to people and figure this whole thing out, because I'm in the process of putting the whole team together. It's a lot of us, obviously, with you with the camera. I have my nieces working behind the scenes, my sister. I have Mike. Shout out to Mike, because he does a lot for me. we're slowly building and growing and just trying to get ourselves to a comfortable space to where we can just offer everyone all of the products.
Slow grind better than no grind.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But, before we end this, give a kind of, since we talking about some things that Enhanced Fitness is working on.
Yes, sir.
Give them kind of a preview of Enhanced Talk and what you got coming with that.
Perfect, man. So we have a show, me and Isaac, where he's filming. I'm the host. It's called Enhanced Talk. And this is a platform for other fitness professionals to come and talk about their business, their grind, where they got the work ethic from, where they get the name from, where they see their business going. Just an avenue, if you don't mind, kind of like the Breakfast Club for fitness. Because Charlamagne, Envy, and Angela, Charlamagne, Envy, and Angela Lee, I drew a blank. That's so inspirational. Like, if you're a music fan, you could just go to YouTube and just listen to a hip-hop conversation all day with different types of people. And now they're branching out, obviously, to way more people than just hip-hop. And that's where I see the fitness show going. That's definitely the platform I want to follow. So a fitness professional, Dovet, the trainers from The Biggest Loser, Jen, I don't know Jen's last name, Witherstorm, whatever the case may be, I call it Jen. So where those people can come and just talk to the world about fitness, where we can sit down and have conversations as trainers, things that we usually do behind closed doors, not to work and hear it, because you want to just provide as much information about obesity as we can. That's obviously the big picture, is to get people skinnier with the obesity rate being so high, get these kids moving around more. That's just the big picture. And I just want different platforms to provide that. And that's what I see with Enhanced Talk, which is coming soon. So y'all stay tuned. Enhanced Talk, fitness show for professionals.
That's what I'm talking about. I'm gonna have to add that to your intro somewhere.
Okay,
Fitness
we definitely can do that.
I like that. While we getting out of here, go ahead and give people a shout out to where they can find you, where they can find your gear, because I always like to give people money, you know what I'm saying, if they can. So
yes, sir.
Shout out the website, the social media, all that. Bread.
We going with Enhanced Fitness. You see the logo moving forward, enhancedfitness.com, and that's with the I. You go enhancedfitness.com, look around, meet the trainer page, click the shop button, look at some of the apparel. We just signed the apparel deal, so shout out to that. So we have the apparel coming, more apparel coming soon. Any piece you need, we're going to be available for that. Definitely check out the Instagram, @EnhancedFitness, Facebook page, @EnhancedFitness, Sports and Performance. And we're definitely adding this to the YouTube page, Enhanced Fitness. And remember, Enhanced Fitness is spelled with an I. Like a picture, leave a comment. Enhanced Fitness Bootcamp Tour coming to a city near you. Shout out Isaac for the platform again. Always coming through for the major blessings. Enhance, improve, inspire you. Find a way to work out.
That's what I'm talking about. That's a great sign out, bro. Well, I ain't got no more than that. Thank y'all for tuning in. I want to thank my homie.
Anytime, bro. I appreciate you.
Fitness for coming through. Y'all tune in for the next episode. Peace.
Sit back, yeah, relax. I'm Paul Mooney in the middle. Real hip hop influential. Getting out is like a good book. Spit a couple bars, no book. All about the numbers, phone book. Your fairy tale niggas, Peter Pan, Captain Hook. I had to get up, get out, and get some. Searching for more, keep it coming. I'm grinding till the wheels fall off. I'm grinding for the ones we lost. Knocking the walls to talk with all we lost in memory. A world full of symmetry. My picture painted vividly. My dark with this fantasy. I'm known to have the camera see. Create my own vision and build my own legacy. Triple H, a nigga talking pedigree. Calling AK. Calling OKC, no Dorando. Westbrook with the handle. Triple double nigga. Hall of Fame, Mickey Mantle. Yeah, America's most hated nigga. Underrated nigga. I'm lyrical, see, I'm serious.